The other day, I read a headline that said that the average middle income family could not handle writing a check for more than $400. They'd be in real financial problems. That got me to thinking. I was born, and this is a very short bio, I was born in the late 50s, and I was born in a small industrial town in the Midwest, and my father was a steel worker by trade. And he got paid every other Friday, which meant that when that Friday hit, Dad was in a really good mood, so was my mom, and everything was great until Sunday evening when Dad would start to plan to go to work the next morning, and suddenly that smile was gone. Now, at the same time, when I started school, I didn't really like school that much, and so I started to dread Mondays as much as I think my dad did. I didn't want to get up out of bed and walk to school and do all those things. And I noticed the adults around me, they would finally start to be a little better by Wednesday. By Thursday, they were in a better mood. By Friday, they were in a great mood because they got the weekend off. And then come Monday again, everybody was kind of grumpy and so forth. And you read the news and you see where people have more heart attacks on Mondays and they have anxiety attacks on Mondays. And Monday's just this horrible, bone-crushing week for so many people. And it's such a negative experience. You see a lot of jokes and stuff like that on Facebook and in social media about people having a real hard time dealing with Mondays. Let's think about Monday for just a second. If you live to be 80 years old, you will experience 4,160 Mondays. Now, if you're having anxiety attacks and all that kind of stuff and dread going to work on Monday, that means spending 11 plus years of every day being a Monday. 11 plus years. Ouch, that's a horrible thing to do because for so many people, Mondays just absolutely suck. Why do they suck? Well, maybe it's because you have a crappy job. Maybe you're not doing what you love to do. Maybe you're not making enough money on this crappy job to even take care of just enough to ensure basic happiness. That's right, there's a certain amount of money out there that I will discuss with you in just a moment to ensure basic happiness. So why put up with dreading Mondays when you don't have to? So when did it strike me that I had finally broken that cycle of not liking Mondays? Well, I had my own company. It wasn't a big company, by the way, just a handful of employees, but I was making enough money that I was no longer worried about paying the rent or getting groceries. And one day on a Friday afternoon, I was taking care of some customers, and they said to me, "What's your plans for the weekend?" And that's when I realized, whoa, is it the weekend? Time had just went, I was just having a good time doing my thing. Didn't even know it was Friday, really. I mean, I knew, but didn't register because I didn't have that anticipation of getting that paycheck and going out and celebrating that paycheck. And that's when it hit me that I had broken out of that dreading Monday thing because I no longer did dread Mondays. I always thought I thought of Mondays as terms of what can I do on, when I get back, because I did take Sundays off. I want to recharge and I can't wait to get back in the office again. I didn't look at it with dread. So what keeps the average person from being happy? Let's talk about happiness for just a second. Here's you. Here's the happier you. And you know what it is that keeps you from being the happy you? This brick wall. And this brick wall consists of several things. By playing it safe, by fear, by lack of skills, by procrastination, by not taking risk. That's the brick wall between the you and the happier you. And that's what so many people allow to get in their way. That's why they're not happy. They try to play it safe. I mean, after all, we're told as children that if you go to school and play by the rules and you get an education and then you go get a job and then you get married and have kids and a mortgage and the dog and the car payment and the college, tuition and retirement. But you see, it doesn't really matter if you're not happy. It doesn't really matter if you spend 11 years of unhappy Mondays. And that's what I wanted to make this video about. Don't let those things get in your way. Let's talk about money for just a little bit. How many of us out there believe if we got $1 million, we'd be extremely happy? If we made $1 million a year, how much happier we would be? Well, that's kind of interesting. There's been some research done on this topic. I'm going to show you this little graph right here. This is happy. This is annual income. And you'll see it's from 25, 50, 75, and 100K a year. It's called the law of diminishing returns. You see a huge increase in personal happiness when you hit to about $75,000 a year. What happens when you go over that amount? Well, $100,000 a year, you can afford more experience and maybe a little bit more happiness, but it is the law of diminishing returns. Eventually, after you make a certain amount of money that meets your basic needs, hopefully you're seeing this on the camera, your basic needs, and you have a little bit left over in your pocket, more money doesn't necessarily make you a happier person. Somebody making $250,000 a year isn't that much happier, if any happier, than somebody making $150,000 a year. So, what about it? Well, here's my advice. Use Mondays. It's time to use Mondays to rethink Monday. Number one, rethink Monday. Use Mondays to plan, to achieve, and to escape. Use that time to figure out what you need to do to have the kind of life where you no longer dread those Monday mornings, that you're doing something that you love and you're making enough money to be happy. In other words, don't spend Sunday night sitting around on the Xbox. Just kick the camera, stupid me. Don't spend Sunday nights on Netflix and the Xbox. If you dread Mondays, right? There's 4,160 Mondays. If you dread those, then do something about it. Make that change. Make that plan. Get the skills. Earn the income. Maybe start your own business. Whatever it takes to get out of that thing that you hate doing on Monday morning and spending the rest of your life being miserable. Imagine, 11 years of just dreading going to work. It's crazy. That's what I want to encourage you to do. And hopefully, maybe you got something positive out of this video. Well, I look forward to your comments down below.